Hello, Dr. Sandberg, and welcome today to my presentation for developing skills for business leadership. These are the table of contents that we're going to be going through today, but let's not wait to start with the introduction. These are the learning outcomes as per your module handbook. And let us start firstly with the aim and objectives of this presentation. So the aim of this presentation is to critically evaluate myself and create a personal development plan in order to understand which areas I can improve myself on. The objectives will firstly be to create a vision statement that defines me and as well setting my short and long-term SMART goals. Secondly, to conduct a SWOT analysis of myself in order for me to understand my different strengths and weaknesses. Thereafter, to understand the different skills required in order for me to meet these goals and to create a plan incorporating them into my daily routine. And lastly, to evaluate the different styles of leadership and followership and find the ones most suitable to me. We'll next move on to a little background about myself. So, as you know, my name is Simraan Mohamedali. All my teachers, friends, and colleagues call me Simba. I'm 23 years old and I was born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm currently studying for a Master of Science in International Hospitality Management. Now, before this, I conducted my Bachelor of Arts in International Hospitality and Events Management here at the Swiss Hotel Management School. And prior to that, I was enrolled at the Top Chefs Culinary Institute in Nairobi, Kenya, where I graduated with a Diploma of Culinary Arts. In terms of the work experience I've gained in my short career so far, I was able to be a food and beverage trainee for Hilton Hotels in Nairobi, after which I got a cross-training between the guest relation and front office department at the Best Western. After coming to SHMS, I was really interested in the rich and historic culture of Portuguese cuisine, so I conducted an internship with a cross-training with the kitchen and pastry section at the Hotel Cascais Mirajam in Portugal. After that, I had the position of sales assistant for Swiss Education Group in East Africa. One of the internships I had quite relatively soon to starting my master was an internship as an events coordinator for the Function Empire in East Africa, which is a private events company. And before starting my master in April this year, I was supposed to have an internship as F&B supervisor at the W in Barcelona. However, unfortunately, due to COVID, this internship never happened. In terms of hobbies, I love watching and playing different sports like football, tennis, badminton, and I love to watch golf. I also love baking because it's a way for me to relieve my stress, and I just love to see the way like the raw ingredients turn into this beautifully finished good. I also love reading because it helps me to accumulate different knowledge on different topics. Let us now move on to the personal development plan. As you can see on the slide, this is the cycle we'll follow today. I will give you a few seconds to look at it. So let's firstly start with the vision statement. This is to be able to enjoy and fully experience life in the present without thinking too much about the past or the future. I also want to develop and improve myself a bit more each day in comparison to the previous day. Now, according to the SEI and VIA test, I have come up with my SWOT. According to Kluchevskia in 2017, even though SWOT was originally designed for businesses, it can help a person to evaluate their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And carrying out a personal SWOT is an important step towards finding life and career direction. So in terms of my strength, I'm an optimistic person with a high level of intrinsic motivation. I value honesty and having a close relation with the people I care about. I like to think of new ways to do tasks, and I recently graduated with an internationally recognized bachelor, and I'm currently studying for an internationally recognized master's degree. In terms of my weaknesses, I lack personal communication and I don't know how to express myself well. I am not fair to people that have hurt me or people I care about, and I don't forgive them easily. I only speak 2 languages fluently with very basic French, and my time management could be better in order for me to pre-plan tasks and get them done ahead of time. In terms of opportunities, now due to the industry we're in, whether there is a hotel or a hotel or restaurant anywhere, there is a job. And actually studying in this field has given us so many options, like we can go into finance, business, events, even human resources. Now, because we're part of SEG, we have a strong alumni connection, and the development of international relations between Kenya and North America is very positive. Let's move on to the threats now. There's currently competition for positions, and the vaccination against COVID might not be effective, and this could negatively impact the industry. This could also get worse if another pandemic breaks out. Terrorism and global warming could also have very huge impacts on this industry. So we'll now move on to the goal setting, and we've used the SMART method because according to Ogbewi in 2017, SMART goals help set you up for success because your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time specific. And the SMART method can help push you further, give you a sense of direction, and help you organize how to reach these goals. So we'll firstly start with the short-term goals, which are between 1 to 2 years. So for my first goal, which is to find a job in the guest relations department in a 4 or 5 star property within Switzerland within 4 to 6 months after finishing my Master of Science. My second goal is to spend 4 hours each week for 3 to 4 months conducting different grammar exercises in order to have fluent conversations in French. And my third goal is to develop my ability of communicating and expressing myself on a personal point of view within the next 5 months by working collaboratively with friends and family. Let's move on to the long-term goals now. The first goal for me is to find a management position within the next 5 years in the front office or guest relations department of a 4 or 5 star property located in British Columbia in Canada. And my second goal is to be able to collect all the finances necessary and look for a suitable location within British Columbia, and in the next 10 years open up my dream medium-sized Mediterranean restaurant. Now, after conducting a soft skills test, as well as the reference on the slide, I realized that in order for me to get to these goals, these were the 9 recommended skills, and I have further prioritized these into 4, as you can see on the slide. In terms of time management, I don't feel that I'm fully benefiting from the way I'm currently managing my time, and therefore I've decided to improve my time management by using a weekly planner that I will show you in the next slide. This will enable me to have something to guide me and something to help me plan my activities, and helping me plan having these activities planned out will also help me to develop another crucial skill, which is adaptability. Because knowing what I have planned out, as well as having the little spaces in my agenda that are free, would help me for the unplanned and emergency events that could come. I decided to choose communication as well because communicating and expressing myself is one of my weaknesses, as well as one of my short and long-term goals. I will do that, as you can see on the weekly planner. I will do that by trying to keep more in contact with my friends and family, as I haven't been doing that much recently. And as you can see from the weekly planner, I will try to have contact with my friends and family, whether it is online or in person, because this would just enable me to speak generally to people, because naturally I'm very introvert and reserved. So this would be the first step, just generally speaking to people. And this, I think, would help me to start expressing myself a bit more. In terms of work ethic, my current work ethic, I think I have a good work ethic. However, it's very subjective. And what I mean by this is I only work very hard on tasks that I perceive as important. For example, I've been wanting to improve my level of French for quite some time, but I didn't get around to doing it because I didn't perceive it as a priority. So I think using this time management tool will help me on that aspect too, because just seeing it there will kind of trick my brain into thinking it's a priority and I want to get it done. Let us now move on to the different leadership styles. Now, after conducting some secondary research, I found another approach in correlation with the one we learned with you in class. So I will firstly start with this one. This one is the 4 leadership styles, and as defined in Rabi et al. In 2017 and supported by Essa and Alatari in 2019. So we'll start with the first style, which is the autocratic leader. The leader is distant from the employees, makes demands, and has punishments, regulation, and rules as part of their core. The assignment of tasks, decision-making, and problem-solving is all done by the leader independently. Now we move on to the democratic style. This leader encourages participation and collective decision-making with the employees to give them different support, choices, and the channels of communication are open. Then we have the laissez-faire, where there's a wide space for the followers to choose and decide for themselves. The leader keeps a low profile and sometimes isn't even included in the final decision. And then we have the dynamic style, and this type of leader is adaptive by nature and uses a fluid leadership style to adjust the team being led. Now we'll move on to the 6 leadership styles according to Goleman in 2000. So firstly, we have the coercive style. This is the more do what I say approach, and they demand immediate compliance. Now, this kind of leadership can be very effective in terms of a natural disaster, for example. Next, we have the authoritative style, and this is the more come with me approach. This leader takes you by the hand and guides you. He gives you the overall goal, but lets you choose on how you want to achieve it. Then we have the affiliative style. This is where the people come first attitude. It's useful for building team harmony and increasing morale. The focus on praise, however, can allow poor performance to go uncorrected, so this needs to be taken into consideration. Next, we have the democratic style, which is very similar. The definition is very similar to the one I said for the model previously. So we'll move on to the pace setting style. This leader sets high performance and standards and exemplifies them himself. And this has a positive impact on employees who are motivated and competent. However, for employees who are not that motivated and competent, they might find him very imposing. And lastly, we have the coaching style, where this leader focuses on personal development instead of immediate tasks. We will now look at Kelly's followership model. This is from Kelly 1992, as cited in Essa and Alatari in 2019. So in terms of the different followership styles, we have firstly the alienated follower, who is competent, independent, and a critical thinker. However, has no sense of belonging to the organization because of underappreciation and ignorance. He doesn't hide his feelings, but expresses his view, resentment, and dissatisfaction towards the organization. Then we have the passive follower. This type of follower is dependent and an under-enthusiastic person who lacks the capacity to perform tasks on his own and lacks innovation and ambition. He is inefficient and avoids tasks that require independent thinking. Thereafter, we have the conformist, who appreciates the decisions of the leader and implements them, but never critically participates. He does his best to satisfy the leader and maintain a good relationship with him, and he is prepared to sacrifice his needs in order for those of the company. Next, we have the exemplary follower, and this kind of follower is prepared to initiate acts and inquire. They more think before doing, and they're interested in perfection. They're not reluctant to withdraw their support from an incompetent leader, and they subscribe to the vision and mission statement of the organization, and they're willing and able to go beyond expectations. Lastly, we have the pragmatic follower, who follows characteristics of the other followers and applies them depending on the situation. But this kind of follower is naturally more concerned with self-interest and carries out tasks but not beyond the expectations. And when an organization faces a dilemma, this kind of follower is ready to walk out, and it's not always to help. After this little description, I have therefore matched the different followership styles with the two different models with the most appropriate followership style, as you can see on the slide. In order for me to identify the type of leadership and followership style I have decided to look at my role as the SAF Vice President. I've taken when I've taken on this role of vice president, I've had to be a leader sometimes and a follower sometimes. I will give you a further example of this. When I'm addressing the SAF or different ambassadors of the SAF or different cross reps, I need to take on the role of a leader. However, when I'm having meetings with the school dean, academic dean, and basically the school board, I need to take on the role of a follower. So I will use both the leadership models to identify which kind of leader I am, and then Kelly's followership model to identify which kind of follower I think I am. So I think in both the models, the leader that describes me the best is democratic, because I was always open to having communication from the other members, always putting most of the decisions up for a vote, and because I felt this was the most fair way to do things. In terms of follower, I was more of a conformist, or a more like mysterious person, because I was accepting and implementing the decisions that were made without questioning them. This is because I felt that these decisions were made with the knowledge and experience that I don't have yet, so I was in no position to question these decisions. Now we'll move on to which leadership and followership style I aspire to have for the future. Using the 4 leadership style model, I would like to be a dynamic leader in the future who has the element of adaptability. And this is one of the skills I wanted to work on. So if I can successfully master this skill, I would be able to become this leader and have the liquidity to be able to adapt to whichever team I'm managing to implement my leadership style. Now, according to the 6 leadership style model, I would like to be an affiliative leader who focuses on developing harmony and building a bond with my team in order to develop and nurture a relationship. Now, however, I would make sure that the poor performance would still be corrected by speaking to the employees in a friendly and in a very positive way. Now, in terms of the followership style I would like to have, I would like to be an exemplary follower, which means I would like to focus on perfection and be extremely motivated and dedicated to what I'm doing with the organization's best interest at heart. So now let's move on to the third part, which is the conclusion. So to sum up this presentation, following the personal development plan step by setting the vision, conducting the SWOT analysis, and setting my goals, it has helped me to realize what I need to work towards and what skills I need to get to these goals. I've also been able to learn about the different leadership and followership styles and evaluate which ones I currently have and which ones I would like to have in the future. So let's move on to the limitations now. The limitations are that a lot of this is theoretical and it can't predict future events. An example of this is the coronavirus outbreak. No one could have predicted it, and even having a time management tool and smart goals could have been changed because of this event. The other thing is that it lacks external input. What I mean by this is that everything that's in this presentation is from my point of view, but it's not from people who see me every day and people close to me. Also, it could have been from an external point of view in terms of a professional. Now, moving on to recommendations for myself. I need to try to the best of my abilities to follow the time management plan strictly and to have the smart goals put up and look at them every day in the morning. Secondly, I need to reevaluate the planner at the beginning of each week. So, at the ending of the previous week and the beginning of the following week to understand which goals I haven't met and structure them into this week, and to understand which goals are not smart anymore or not realistic anymore. And lastly, it's to talk with the people close to me to understand if I'm making progress and if they can see this progress. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. You will now find my list of references, which is in the Harvard style, which is a combination of websites, books, and academic journals and articles. Thank you very much.